Lindsey, thank you so much for joining me on the podcast. I feel so excited to have this time with you. I want people to know that Lindsey is like OG. You are like old school, one of my first students at Ziva, and in the actual original course of Moving into Mastery. So those of you who decide to enroll in Moving into Mastery, you're going to see Lindsey's beautiful face. You're going to hear her brilliant questions. And this is such a unique opportunity for us to kind of go into a time capsule and connect with Lindsey's circa when we shot this versus Lindsey now. And I guess let's just give people a little window into how long have you been meditating? Like, it's just to start there. Like, how has the Ziva technique impacted your life?
First of all, thank you, Emily, for doing this, for having me here. Just two Aries on the podcast going crazy. I started Ziva 9 years ago.
Wow.
And yeah, it's so wild because I feel like I've done everything you've offered just because Ziva, like doing the course, even before the book, before it was Ziva Online, it was just like doing Ziva initially really opened up and laid a foundation for everything else I've ever done after it, including like any kind of coaching, therapy, plant medicine, books, like any kind of self-development, I feel like has been built on the Ziva foundation. And Mastery was, I always say I was in Movie Mastery season 1. Like, when was that?
Season 1. I think it was 2017 is when we originally shot it. And that's one of the things that's so cool. It's like, because it's ancient wisdom, it's like, it doesn't really expire. Like, we keep thinking like, oh, are we going to reshoot it? Are we going to update it? It's like, well, the ancient concepts are the ancient concepts. And now we have, new people talking about cryptocurrency and AI and Bitcoin and functional medicines, like the stuff that is changing, we're updating that. But really the ancient wisdoms, it's ancient for a reason. It's like, it's like held through the test of time for a reason. But yeah, you're right. Because you were in Moving into Mastery season 1.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm curious, like, if you can tune into, almost like baby Lindsey, that version of you who showed up on that first day, not maybe really having that much knowledge of the Vedas going into it, but how has this work like shifted you as a person? Or is there any particular module that has changed life for you in a particular way?
I love what you shared about how Mastery has been updated, because even now, like going in and seeing the things that have been added and revisiting, it's so powerful. Like you said, I love how there's the foundational module is the creation, maintenance, destruction, which you talk about a lot, but really like applying that in tangible ways was a really cool way to approach mastery. It was like, oh yeah, that's a cool concept, creation, maintenance, destruction, or that's a useful concept, but then actually applying it to like, where is this showing up in my relationships? Where is this showing up in my purpose? Where is this showing up with my money? It just got so tangible in such a useful way. And I remember the first module was relationships, and Lauren Zander was there. And I remember, and she's a life coach. And I remember, like, I had never even really heard of a life coach. And now I am a coach, which is so interesting to think about me then. I just remember Lauren talking about her book. And I remember being so hot, like so confronted by this, like, oh, my relationship is like, this is not it.
Like the romantic relationship you were in at the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But how that one was like, oh yeah, this is the thing that needs to shift. Yeah, and it was so confronting.
Your relationship with yourself is out of alignment. Like, obviously that's going to impact your money. That's going to impact your body. That's going to impact your time. And Lauren Zander, who is so just for folks who haven't done it yet, like every module is basically an opportunity for me to share my studies from the Vedas. I've been studying the Vedas for about 16 years, but also we bring in a guest expert that is going to help us to like translate all of this ancient Vedic knowledge into how does this apply? How does this matter in my life today? So obviously people care about, romantic relationships, finances, physical health, purpose, community, creativity, time. And so Lauren is our guest expert, and Lauren is a coach and also was my coach. And her book is called Maybe It's You. And like confronting is a great adjective. And I think that it's a good thing where it's almost like the first module goes in and is a little bit of the wrecking ball of like anywhere that you're out of integrity, anywhere that you are lying to yourself, we kind of wreck those walls down so that you have this fertile soil and this neutral foundation on which to build the castles of your own design in these other areas of your life. Um, and interesting now that you've become a life coach, having been influenced by that like directness and that honesty. Um, Anything else? Were there any other modules that you felt like really shifted things for you or that you loved?
Well, I loved the purpose one because at the time I was an actor. I still say I'm an actor, but it's like that was why I was in New York.
I mean, Lindsay's
And
being humble.
just,
Lindsay's like a Broadway actress, has originated many shows, played Glinda in Wicked. Like she's amazing, amazing performer, extraordinary singer, and a gifted teacher and coach. We all have multitudes.
yeah, thank you. So that I think is even just what you reflected is an important part of the piece where it was like, oh, purpose can look like so many things. And at different times, what does purpose look like? And I remember Jesse talking about how he created Medi Club.
Yeah.
No, yeah,
MediClub
Medi
and Be
Club.
Quiet. So yeah, Jesse Israel, who's a Ziva grad and friend who created MediClub and then the Big Quiet, and then went on tour with Oprah, leading meditations on tour with Oprah. And, coming from like a music background, like he was in a music producing industry.
Yeah, so even just how that was part of following his charm or following purpose and just like responding to life and the energy and kind of what life was calling him to next. And I feel like as an actor or a creative person, even watching you with Ziva, it's like you've really followed and the different expressions of your like what your transmission is.
Yeah. Like what a gift that, that it is possible in this day and age to create a career that matches what your passions are and what your desires are. Okay, so let's dive in. I know that you spend your whole days coaching, but I want to take some time to apply some of this ancient knowledge, apply some of this wisdom from the Vedas into anything that's coming up for you right now. So, where are you looking for a little bit of love, or where are you expanding into a new echelon in your life at the moment?
I'm looking at how to talk about what I'm up to and share my work in a way that's not like people pleasing or judging people. Like people pleasing in terms of like this is like the light version. Like not if speaking to the directness of Lauren Zander, like how like to be direct and transparent without thinking about people that like if we think about meditation, it's like, you want to teach people that raise their hand. You always say that. It's like you can't teach somebody that doesn't raise their hand. So it can
Well,
be
what I say
it
is
can
that worthy inquiry is really important, right? And that if someone does not have worthy inquiry and you try to make them have worthy inquiry, that you get punished. However, I do believe that is our job as beacons and teachers and coaches to create worthy inquiry. So it sounds like that is actually the question of like, how do I speak about the work that I'm doing in a way that inspires worthy inquiry? Is that accurate?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so tell me right now, what's the obstacle? Like what does people pleasing mean and what's the opposite of that mean for you? How is that showing up?
I think it's like I almost imagine someone in my mind who is already like not on board. It's like
Uh,
I'm already just thinking about like
the critic, the
convince
skeptic, the
yeah,
naysayer.
yeah, like
And this
I'm
is like
not
when
really
you're talking out loud, when you're writing copy, when you're writing a web page, like at what point does this come in?
it's like the conversation in my mind. So it's like when I'm writing copy
Mm-hmm.
or speaking about it like yeah, on social media.
Okay.
I've worked with a lot of different people and a lot of different like industries. They're up to a lot of things, so it's kind of like who is the person that I want to be talking to who's like interested in this work. Yeah, it creates this like conversation in my mind that it's already trying to like convince or like prove
Yeah.
instead of just like imagining a really interested person.
Mm-hmm. And then what was the other option besides people pleasing?
Like judging,
Judging
like
them?
like subtly judging people that don't meditate, being like this is why you should meditate, kind
Uh-huh.
of like
Or
Not
like
like,
you do it with coaching as well, like judging people that don't do coaching.
yeah. I think like subconsciously, where it's
Yeah.
like I'm like if somebody has an objection or they're not ready, and it's like, here's why you should be ready.
Yeah, like I have the way, I know the truth. This is the path.
Oh
And
my
if
God.
yeah, and if you don't choose the path, the truth, the light, then you are less than. So yes, it's really celebrating like the bravery and audacity and honesty inside of that because we're all doing it to some degree. Like of course we think our path is the best or we would choose a different path, right? Of course we
Mhm.
think the things that we're doing with our time is the best or we would do something else. And
Mhm.
so there is just honesty inside of that. And so how do we hold the simultaneity of this is the best path for me and I'm going to shine this beacon so bright so that other people that might want this same medicine that has helped me feel magnetized to it, not shamed for not doing it or judged for not doing it, or putting me into people pleasing mode and saying something that's not true in order to prove that I am what they need. Right. And so if we want to bring this back to and we could obviously go into marketing language, but I think it'd be more beneficial to anchor this in the ancient wisdom. And so one of the concepts that we talk about in the foundations module, which is in mastering your relationships, the very first thing is this idea of knower, knowing, and known, right? The Sanskrit terms are rishi, devata, chandas. And so it sounds like right now, when you're writing this copy, because you're an actor, because you're a coach, because you're a meditator, it is easier for you to get inside of someone else's experience than it is for most likely. You know, you can sort of like crawl inside of someone else's consciousness to some degree. And that's part of what makes you so good at your job. And when you're writing copy, it's like it wants to be coming from you, from the knower, and it also sounds like you're putting your awareness into the known, right? So just um, to define these terms for people though it's new to them, if let's say you had a glass of water in front of you and you were looking at the glass of water, if we want to talk about knower, knowing, and known, you, the person looking at the glass, are the knower. The known is the glass of water. That's what you're putting your attention on. And the knowing is the very flow of consciousness between the two things. And so when you're writing copy, you want to be so simultaneously like consumed with your own magnificence, right? Your own magic and however nature is using you as a channel. And of course, you are writing to someone, right? Like every good actor is speaking to someone, even if it's a monologue. You sing a song, you're singing to someone. And so it sounds like it's just a matter of refining the percentage of your attention that is on you and the transmission versus on not only them, but on the smallest version of them, right? On the piece of them that is their fear, on the piece of them that is their stress release, on the piece of them that is not connected to all that is, right? Because truly, any offering made in love, any offering made from a place of generosity is a gift, right? And then the person has full agency to say yes or no to this opportunity. There's no manipulation. There's no like black magic. It's just, here's this offering made in love, made in integrity, allowing nature to use me as a channel. And then this person has an opportunity to say yes or no. And I think when we start to muck up this process is when we get into our own stress, into our own judgment, into our own fear, the need to prove ourselves, the need to shape ourselves into something that someone else might approve of, which is so different than like, hey, nature, how would you love to use me? Like, I offer my voice. You've given me so many gifts. Please use these gifts that you have given me to be a vessel. And then tuning into not someone else's fear, not someone else's judgment, but someone else's desire. Right. And that feels like an important differentiation because if you're tuning into their fear, their judgment, that's going to kick up your fear and your judgment. But if you're tuning into their desire, that's going to wake up your guru. right? You tune into their desire. That's going to wake up your teacher. And by the way, I know guru is a very inflammatory word, but it simply means bringer of light, right? It's going to tune into your teacher. Because as you know, the Vedas are an ancient body of knowledge that's going to flow through you according to the need of the time. So you could even be putting your attention as you're writing copy, as you're writing this website, as you're writing the sales email, you could be putting your attention on the same avatar, but you could be putting your attention on their judgment of you, their fear about the money, their unworthiness versus what is actually their divinely inspired desire. What do they actually want? And if you can tune into that, that's where you get someone else's inspiration, right? Like that's when you will actually inspire them to evolve into the highest version of themselves. It's what's their desire, not watering their weeds, right? Like not putting your very high value attention on the thing that you do not want to grow inside of that person.
Mm-hmm.
Does that track?
Yeah.
And also, it's like if you're tuning into their divinely inspired desire, right? So again, not their greed, not their fear, not the small self, but the divinely inspired desires. Those are the things that none of us can really do alone, right? That they are here to connect us and to strengthen the mycelial network of magic that is interweaving between all of us. And so if you can help someone tune into that for themselves, and this might happen in the getting to know you, in the marketing, in the sales, like you're tuning them into what is their divinely inspired desire. And then from that place offering, well, these are the ways that I can help you move towards that thing, right? Then you're not having to dance with their darkness, which will bring out your darkness, right? Because what we put our attention on grows. And if you are writing to someone else's fear or writing to someone else's skepticism or writing into someone else's unworthiness, right, then it inadvertently kicks up those things inside of ourselves. And so it's not just about what's my avatar. It's not just about defining like who's my dream client. It's about like what part of this person am I speaking to? Because we all have multitudes. You know, like you catch me on a Tuesday and I'm the most abundant, easy flowing person on the planet. You catch me on Thursday night after, you know, paying hundreds of thousands of dollars in taxes and about to sign a mortgage contract, and I could be in fear and contraction around money. So it's like, it's almost like you are preemptively creating an energetic and psychic relationship with these potential clients. And so not only do you want to put the beacon up and attract the people who are ready for your particular medicine, but you also want to speak to the version of them that is going to not only be attracted to this work, but then implement it.
I think even just reflecting on like my experience with Ziva, like your transmission is so powerfully effective at speaking to like, this is what's possible. This is what's possible. I think that has been what has been so powerful for me in terms of experiencing all the things that you offer and all the ways that you consistently show up as like the beacon.
Can you say more about that? Because I'm just in the process of creating a whole new course and we're going into this launch. So I want to understand, like when you say inside of my transmission this is what's possible. Can you just double click on
Yeah.
that so I can understand it?
Yeah. So like I even remember the first time I came to the intro talk, which like there used to be an intro talk.
Yeah, we used to
It
do
was like,
live, free, in-person intro talks to be like, welcome to Ziva. This is how this thing works. This is why Ziva is
yeah.
different from other styles of meditation.
Yeah. It wasn't like, oh, this like kind of self-deprecating sad person talking about meditation. It was like this woman has sunshine coming out of her face. Like it was like, what? It really was like, what is she having? Like, I want what she's having.
Yeah.
Because before I found Ziva, I graduated from college and I booked a Broadway show while I was in college. So I was like, great, checking the boxes. And then when I graduated, I booked Wicked. And the year I did Wicked, I was like, oh, this didn't solve all my problems.
Yeah, the I'll
Like,
be happy when syndrome turns out it was in fact a lie. Dang it.
yeah. Yeah. It was like this. I didn't arrive. I thought I was going to arrive somewhere and I was just in Houston on the Wicked Tour. That's where I arrived, but it wasn't like an internal arrival. It was just like, so I remember when I did Ziva, I was like, what is this thing inside? Like, there's just this unrest. There's like a void. There's something in here that this external thing is not solving.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I saw you talk at the intro talk, that's what I mean. Like, your being was so, it's like whatever, like that, the radiance, just, yeah, you were so okay inside. There was such an okayness. There was such a, like a possibility. There was such a, whatever frequency she's like that, this is it. And it's not from like, oh, a certain amount of money or a show or a certain a promotion. Like it was just like, you can just have this. And I never, and I had done yoga before and meditated before, but it was different. It's almost like I don't even consider Ziva meditation because it kind of gets convoluted with like other forms of meditation and it feels so different to me. Yeah. It's like such a different, it's like in its own, it's in a league of its own. Like it just doesn't feel like anything else. So yeah.
That feels important to highlight for folks because I'm sure lots of people here have listening have done Ziva, and I'm sure many people haven't. And it's been a real, I mean, like as we're talking about and coaching on marketing, it's been a real challenge because it's not what people think when they think of meditation. It's not a guided app on your phone. It's not someone walking you through something on YouTube. It really is this like powerful way to shift your consciousness internally, to change your neurochemistry, to give your body this deep rest. And then it shifts everything on the other side of it. And it's self-sufficiency. So it's like teaching you to do it on your own. And so it's almost like I want to call it something other than meditation. And yet, back when we started, like meditation was just becoming so popular. Maybe now that everyone's like over meditation and they're on to like, doing psychedelics in cold plunges with aliens and things. Anybe we can go back to calling it something else.
Yeah. Anytime I talk to anybody about Ziva, and I talk to anyone that will listen, I will talk to them about it.
Why isn't everyone doing this?
Exactly. And they're like, it's like the same kind of like connotation or the same association with other forms of meditation. I'm like, it's just not there. Like it stopped my cold sores and migraines within the first few months that I had gotten for years. It was like, what is going on? Like this is, and it's not the same as like and I love like a guided meditation, where I'm like crying and I feel like my nervous system is being regulated, all those things. But Ziva is just like the practice is just so completely different. So yeah.
Great. So to bring us home, because I mean, this has been a glowing invitation for people to, really dive into Ziva online and learn the Ziva technique and feel for themselves like how it's different from most of the other stuff that's out there. But what would you say to someone who's considering enrolling into moving into mastery? Because this is the last year that we're doing it like this. It's the last year that we're doing it as a year-long curriculum and this whole body of knowledge like all together. So what would you say to someone who's considering it, on the fence, nervous about the investment?
Yeah, I mean, it's like get it while you can. But I would say like I think I did mastery after meditating for a year or two. Maybe it was like a year or two, and it was like the gateway to like the next level of changes that happened in my life.
Moving into mastery was the gateway?
Yeah. It's really clear where you are, or for me, it was really clear where I was still out of alignment after making a lot of changes just from the meditation.
Yeah.
But then it would be like, ooh, relationship, okay, where am I in maintenance or destruction? Or do I want to be in creation here? And the community is amazing. Like being in the community and doing that with people. And it was very much like buddies, like accountability, meeting with people consistently. Yeah, I mean, it was like, it's like stupidly a good deal. Like, I'll just say
it is in fact 8 full-blown like mastery level courses. Like we're not kidding when it's like, oh, this is a course with Andrew Huberman that's going to help you master your brain. Oh, this is a course with like one of the world's most creative humans on the planet on mastering your creativity. Oh,
Yeah.
mastering your money with like these ancient Vedic concepts and like three world-class experts now in like Bitcoin and AI. We're bringing in functional medicine doctors. We did a new, so like in addition to the original, like season one that you were in, we've now brought in Mark Hyman, Dr. Allison Mulcahy, an AI expert. Like, so again, it's like the ancient wisdom stays the same, but how we apply it into the ever increasing rate of change of our modern lives feels important. And so it's, I mean, it's like over like 14 experts now. And it really is like 8 mastery level courses in the most important areas of your life. And even though this is the last time we're offering it in this way, everyone who enrolls in this time will have access to these trainings for life. So as long as it is around, you will have access to it. And I think that the community is a really beautiful part as well. I interviewed someone else a few days ago, and she said that due to mastering your relationship, she ended a lot of like unhealthy relationships. She got more boundaried with her family. She had ended some personal relationships, and that her accountability group like became her lifeline for a little while as she was developing new friendships at a different frequency. And it was really beautiful to hear because it's something I wouldn't normally have access to. And so it's been so nourishing for me to get to actually make one-on-one connections and be like, whoa, this thing is really changing people's lives. So good.
Yeah. And just to be in a community of, in a even more committed, tight knit community of other people doing amazing things.
Yeah.
Like Ziva Online, there's so many people in there and it's amazing. And then Mastery like gave us like something to like play with, like something to hold on to that we, and like Robert was also in moving into Mastery season 1. He just emailed me recently. It's like, oh, I'm still in communication
Oh,
with,
yeah.
yeah, like I'm still friends and colleagues with the people that I met in that round. And
Mm,
it's like, oh, how you say, when you like when you're, your dream and you're creating, then it's like there have to be other people involved. Like we're not just creating alone. So
yeah.
it's like being able to kind of have a team where there are people building their mission and then you're enrolled in theirs, they're enrolled in yours. It's like this beautiful like, oh, it's like it's like like a mastermind group of
Yeah.
people doing amazing things together.
It is like a really like high level global community of people helping each other with their dreams. Oh, great. Well, anything else you wanna leave us with before we sign off?
Oh, just that I just want to point out like this woman, we did a Ziva retreat where I think it was Ziva, the technique plus InQ. It was like a
Yeah.
poet. And this woman cured her fear of death in 3 days. So I just want to say that for anyone who like, just the power of like being in that kind of community and learning from these experts and what's possible with Ziva paired with like Ziva Foundation paired with these teachings is like pouring gasoline on whatever you're creating.
It really is. And the way I think about it is that the meditation is the hardware upgrade. It's going to give you the new computer, and then the moving into mastery is the operating system. This is the software that is going to change how you interact with every area of your life. And Lindsey, like you are a living testament of this, right? Like you have had so many different iterations of yourself. You keep reinventing yourself. You move from like successful career to successful career, and you're not afraid to let go of the old and invite the new. And because your state of consciousness keeps up leveling, each iteration of you, each external representation of your soul keeps getting more refined, more vibrant, more alive and beautiful. So thank you for being a living, breathing example of what's possible with the combination of Ziva and moving into mastery. And thank you for joining
Yeah.
us today.
Thank
And
you.
yeah, and sweet friends, thank you for tuning in to today's episode. If you have enjoyed it, I'm going to invite you to go to zivameditation.com/join mastery. And there you're going to find out everything you need to know about this beautiful course, giving you ancient wisdom and how to apply it to your modern life. And I will see you next week on Why Isn't Everyone Doing This? In the meantime, we love you. Mwah!
I love you.